Do you say bag or bag?
I say bag.
Bag?
Yeah. What do you say?
I definitely say bag.
Hi, xin chào tất cả các bạn. Chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của NamSica. Thứ nhất là mình muốn cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi kênh YouTube của mình, và chúng ta đã có được hơn 200 subscribers. Yay! Và để mừng cho việc này thì mình trong 2 tuần rồi mình đã có rất là nhiều cái sự lên kế hoạch để mà sắp tới bắt đầu ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ hàng tuần mình sẽ cố gắng mời một người khách mời đến tham gia với chúng ta, và chúng ta sẽ làm một series English chat. Lý do tại sao mình muốn làm cái series này là bởi vì mình thì không quá giỏi về những thứ gọi là technical, những cái thứ mà quá nghiêng về kỹ thuật ở trong tiếng Anh. Tuy nhiên thì mình cảm thấy là mình tốt hơn trong phần thực hành, và cái phần đó là phần mà mình nghĩ là nhiều bạn ở Việt Nam khi mà mình học tiếng Anh mình đang thiếu cái môi trường để mình thực hành và mình học những cái từ hoặc là những cái cấu trúc câu thì nó thường là được gói gọn trong cái môi trường nhà trường, và cái môi trường là mình học cái câu này và mình viết một cái câu như thế kia. Tuy nhiên là rất là khó để mà làm sao để chúng ta có thể vận dụng nó vào trong cuộc sống. Thì mình hy vọng là qua cái series English Chat này mình sẽ mời những cái người, có thể là người bản xứ, có thể là người Việt, có thể là người mà không phải là người Việt nhưng mà cũng học tiếng Anh là ngôn ngữ thứ hai chẳng hạn, và để xem là họ có những cái chia sẻ gì về việc học tiếng Anh, hoặc là về những cái công việc khác trong cuộc sống mà chúng ta có thể nhìn thấy được tiếng Anh trong cái môi trường thực tiễn là nó như thế nào. Và hy vọng là các bạn sẽ có thể học được một vài từ hoặc là một vài cái cấu trúc câu mà các bạn sẽ cảm thấy là hữu ích trong cái môi trường làm việc cũng như là cái môi trường học tập của các bạn. Và ngày hôm nay khách mời đầu tiên là Jenna. Thì Jenna là một người bạn ngày xưa học cùng ở trường đại học với mình. Bạn ấy trên mình 2 lớp. Khi mà mình đến trường thì là bạn ấy đã sắp tốt nghiệp mất rồi. Nhưng mà trong cái thời gian ngắn ngủi đó thì mình và Jenna đã kịp làm thân và đã hợp tác trong một vài cái project ở trên trường. Bây giờ Jenna hiện tại thì vừa là giáo viên dạy nhạc nhưng mà cũng là giáo viên dạy tiếng Anh qua mạng, và bạn ấy là người Mỹ. Thì mình hy vọng là mình sẽ mời Jenna đến và xem là Jenna có những cái chia sẻ gì về việc học tiếng Anh, về việc dạy tiếng Anh, cũng như là nếu như mà Jenna có những chia sẻ khác cho những bạn nào có đam mê với môn học này nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ gọi cho Jenna. Xem nào. Jenna ơi, Jenna đâu rồi?
One eternity later.
Oh, hi Jenna.
Oh, hey! Hey, how's it going?
It is going. How are you?
Good. I'm doing very good. Just got done with one of my classes online, so...
That's excellent, and I love your background.
Oh, thank you. It's really colorful. I love colorful things. They bring the atmosphere to be really bright and cheery, so yeah. Thank
Just like
you.
You know that this is for my YouTube channel, so would you mind saying hi to the viewers and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yes, definitely. So hello everyone. My name is Jenna and I am coming to you. I am one of Nam's longtime friends. We met in college and yes, hearts. And currently it's really cool because I teach English online. It's something interesting that we're both sharing now is just the topic of, pronunciation and speaking English and all that. So I currently teach online with VIPKID, and I'm really excited to kind of share my insight into that teaching world and what things I've noticed from the English language.
How long have you been teaching?
So I've been teaching English online for, this is my 4th month, and now I'm also teaching music online at a different platform called OutSchool. So I enjoy doing kind of both of my loves, teaching both of my loves during the day.
So what have you found most interesting about teaching English online versus teaching, in person?
I find that what's interesting to me is I feel like teaching online one-on-one or just one-on-one in general needs to happen with English learning. And that's because I feel like, you know, every class I'm paying attention 110%, trying to figure out multiple ways that I can help teach how to say this word, or what this grammar means and what this sentence structure should be, or just picking a characteristic in their tone or their speaking, or something that they're saying that is just a little unclear. And as a native speaker, it's kind of natural for me to hear if that's something that's not normally commonly said here, even though it means the same. But if someone from here were to, you know, hear you say that in the wrong way, then they would think something was off, or, you know, I kind of try to help with that as well, along with the grammar and things.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, because I'm also teaching a student online, just primarily focusing on speaking. And, you know, a lot of the things that they would say, you know, would be grammatically correct and would be 100%, you know, understandable, but it's just not what we say, and it's just not, you know, what you would hear on a day-to-day basis.
And I would say that the number one thing for me is, do they understand the word? Do they understand the meaning? That's the number one for me, because you know, that's something that you need to go to, you know, a country that's fully English speaking. But, you know, do you need to be perfect with, you know, your tone and your pronunciation when you first go to a country that's English speaking? That is also something that is important, but I think that comes after the actual meaning, you know, is established.
Long after. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, that's what I try to tell my student too. There's really no use in trying to rush the process and try to sound natural and sound complex. You know, right now he's just trying to get meaning across. I think that's the most important. And, you know, I try to discourage my student to use complex vocabularies that he doesn't really understand, just to try to sound better. But then instead, you know, when people are confused and, you know, the message is lost in the middle of translation, that makes you look worse.
Yes, definitely. This is all about like communicating with people, right? So you know, it's now you're coming back to kind of like, well, you know, what is language for? You know, why have language? Well, it's to communicate with people. So the meaning needs to be established first, because even if you're spending more time on the meaning, like at the same time, you're listening and correcting errors that need to be corrected with the speaking tone. So because language, I just feel like you learn it all at once and it just comes at you, and you're just like, you just have to scramble to get to everything.
Yep.
It's helpful to have like a one-on-one person.
And then, you know, then we can provide that real-time fixes and feedback, also encouraging what we are hearing that is good and that needs to stay. Like, I feel a lot of teachers kind of forget sometimes that, you know, students, you know, while they're doing 5 things wrong, they're probably doing 7 things right, and they need to know that.
Yeah, and that's just as important as, you know, bringing up something that is wrong, because it has a very similar effect. But if you do one more than the other, obviously positive with your feedback, but if you're just saying everything's right, it can definitely come back to haunt you. Making sure that you're being pretty equal with what feedback you give. Yeah, that's really important though, to let them know what they're doing right.
It is especially important if, you know, it is something that they are applying that we were teaching, say the day before, or, you know, or during the lesson. You know, if we taught them a technique, or if we taught them a structure and they're using it right away, we need to make sure we tell them that they're using it right so that they feel confident, doing that again.
Yes, definitely. And that's something that I feel having that one teacher to like kind of consistently, that's going to help, because not because it's like they have to love you 24/7 or something like that, but more because that teacher knows like what you've struggled with, what you've learned already, and can bring those back in the present and future lessons. So that's really important. And you're on this journey together, and it's like, oh my goodness, you finally got that when you've struggled with that for even a year.
So like you mentioned, like having that consistent feedback from one teacher. I actually struggle with that too with my student. The thing is, I don't know if it's common here, but in Vietnam, students go to a lot of tuition centers. Thing is, I keep finding myself correcting what one of the teachers have been teaching them. Have you had this similar experience, and how do you handle that? So far, I'm pretty new to this, but so far I have had, at least one student that kind of happened to me, where I do think it's important for them to hear other English speakers and maybe even get a second set of ears. But I don't think it should be like 5. I think it should be like 2 or 3. And they should also, there should be like probably a main teacher and then, like a couple secondary teachers or something like that. One of my students, basically I had been teaching her and I was new to her, and we had been consistently seeing each other, and then I didn't see her for a few weeks. And then some of the things that we had gone over, like we went over a song together, she remembered it, and she had before in the previous lessons sang that song back to me perfectly, 100%. She didn't remember that, so it was the like days of the week, days of the month songs, and those really helped her remember those days, and she had forgotten them. But then she probably got more than even one teacher in that time, in that few weeks that we were apart. And then every lesson was, oh, what is she struggling with? Oh, what is she struggling with? And nothing was consistent enough for her to actually like remember specific things. So I think that's a downfall. That is. And that it is really important to have that consistent person. But in no way am I saying don't listen to other English speakers. Right. Like you said, it's a journey, and we have been there to guide them through that journey, and we would hate to have them like sidetrack and then like this way. Yeah.
And I think like that's just us kind of being like teachers that really, really care. Right.
Because we're not just there to deliver, a 30-minute lesson and go on with our life. We continue to monitor and continue to help them. Yeah.
Do you say bag or bag?
I say bag.
Bag?
Yeah. What do you say?
I definitely say bag.
Yeah, see? That's the part I don't understand.
That's not, like, what I say is not correct, so I have to teach it the other way. Because, like, the other thing is, like, you're also delivering, like, one product when you have so many.
Right.
So you don't want to, like, teach what I try to think about, like, what someone with, like, perfect English would say, because I don't have perfect English.
Is there such a thing though, or is perfect English the CNN white anchor English? Because I don't know, even CNN people have slightly different tones. So that's the thing that I struggle with a lot.
And the question then becomes to, like, what would you need perfect English?
Right.
Maybe you'd be a voiceover, but even, them can have some of their own accents, but,
Right, and I don't think anyone should start out learning a language thinking that they're going to end up as a professional voiceover person, you know what I mean? And I think people need to understand that the majority of people that they're going to interact with will not be speaking the version of English that they're thinking they need to learn. That's just one problem that my student brings up a lot, is the ability to, like he calls it downloading, you know, like when he can't load fast enough to get both the sentences right, the words right, and the idea across. So have you had similar, sentiments brought to you, or, how do you think they would come about, fixing that?
Yeah, I've gotten, obviously, students, I don't even know how many hundreds of students I've taught already, but I've gotten so many different levels and so many, some of these students, they've heard English before, maybe they speak it at home. This morning I had like one of my favorite students, and he's a 6-year-old boy. He speaks English fluently, like at home. He's learning about climate change in the VIPKID curriculum, right? He understands it. Not only is he learning it, he understands it, he gets it, he can speak about it like with high detail. With high detail. Yes, 6 years old.
Well, he needs to teach me.
It's insane.
Because I don't think I know enough about climate change.
Yes. Basically, there's what the VIP curriculum has is just a ton of that repetition, and then you just perfect it, and then we'll break down the main points, things like that. But we'll read the same stories, throughout that lesson, or throughout that unit, which is like there's 12 lessons in a unit.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it gets really repetitive for those who understand the concepts and are speaking really well, all of those things. Right. That's a struggle for me. But then, on the opposite end, it's really important for those who are struggling with the concepts or not, or still in that phase that you're not like right here with English learning, you're still growing. I think that's really important, especially
and I think
thinking and then reading. Like you have to think about it first, and then you have to read it, and then it has to come out of your mouth.
Right, and I think, like you said, the repetition, I think, will help shorten that reaction time, or, whatever lag time there is from, forming a thought to projecting it out into, audible sounds that actually make sense. So this is my method that I'm trying to help him. I want to get your input and see if, it's something that you would recommend. So what I do is I try to teach by topic, and prior to the lesson I would send him an article that I think is appropriate for his level of reading, so he would have time on his own to read it and absorb it, and see certain words that we're probably going to encounter during the lesson, just like how we do it in college. And then, during the lesson itself, we practice speaking about it. And then, I would give him feedback and then have him redo the answers to a similar question, but not exactly the same. So he gets to practice both, vomiting words back out to me and, thinking about it conceptually, because he's about to enter college. I need him a little bit, one more level up from just, linguistically capable.
Yes, I think that your method is really good there, because especially that you're saying, I think it's good for anyone who's kind of at that age to read, and they enjoy reading, sort of that sort of thing. But especially for someone who's, kind of preparing themselves for university. And I think so, because a lot of the things that you're going to be doing in college is, reading.
Oh, by the way, I want to ask you, how many pages on average did you read per day when you were in college?
Kind of the beginning to middle was like, you know, I mean, each class, it was like they were asking me to read between like 40 to 100 pages.
Right.
Each class.
Per class.
How many classes do you have? And can you finish that, you know, the day, you know, between that day and the day after, and still do your other classes homework? Because you know how college is, like Monday and Wednesday and Friday you'll have this class, Tuesday and Thursday you'll have this class.
Right. So on average, you know, every day you kind of have 2 classes. So you ended up, you know, having to read upwards of 150 pages a day. And yeah, that's what I told my student. I just want to make sure that he understands that it's real. I didn't bluff you. It was a thing.
I think reading is really important. I think in college, they will sometimes like push you because they don't have time to teach that many concepts. So you have to read it and like, you know, just like try to maintain that knowledge. But I just felt like in college, I was doing so much of like reading something and then trying to just like get the answers right. And then the problem is I did it so fast that it was like, I forgot a lot of the things. I really did.
Yeah.
So I mean, the problem is that's just how college is.
Yeah, that is. And, you know, I just kind of want to get it out to the viewers, especially for those who are planning to study abroad, to know that that is waiting for them. Now, do they need to read every single word of, you know, the 150 pages they need to read? No, but that's just how college is.
And I would say, like, I recommend, I wasn't the best at this, but whenever I did have a study group, that was really helpful because, you know, college is also about kind of listening to different perspectives. And when you were with a study group too, they could kind of like help get to the main point. First of all, it's easier hearing it being talked about in detail. And second of all, they're going to pick up on like main ideas, and you're going to kind of come to a conclusion about what the main idea was. I feel like, you know, a study group for, you know, an hour is going to do you better than just only reading the material by yourself or studying by yourself.
Right. And I'm sure you learned this too in teaching is, you know, like when you are able to explain something to someone, that knowledge becomes yours and you remember it way better too. So if you are in that study group and you are the one explaining, you know, a small point of whatever that is to someone else, that sticks with you.
Yeah, I like that you brought that in, you know, because that's just going the extra step too. That's understanding it in, you know, a different way. And I do think that, you know, even just me teaching, you know, English and music, it's like allowed me to see just so many more things and understand it and just be better myself, I guess.
Right. I have a very similar experience actually. Like I always knew the knowledge, but when only when I had to explain it to someone and make it make sense to them, I feel like I know that knowledge a little bit more intimately, if that makes sense.
Like I'm now like, it's crazy how much I've learned, but like, you know, talking about like possessive adjectives and and pronouns and all these things, I didn't realize that those are the things that a lot of those things I had to have a refresher, and teaching really helped me.
Is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers? Any words of encouragement or any last advice you would like to give to them if they decide to embark on this journey of learning English?
Oh gosh, you know, it's as long as you keep consistent, and you know, it really helps to have, you know, support. It's really, and if you don't, you know, watching these videos is going to be, you know, that source of support for you. And Nam is doing his best, you know, to bring, you know, those topics up that he thinks that is going to help you the most, to be that support for you. And I'm hoping to start doing that as well. But, you know, I say, you know, embark on the journey. There are so many things besides just the learning that that you get to experience. Any language is going to be a gift to learn, because you get to meet so many new people. You get to explore a different culture, and just, I think really honestly, it makes you smarter to learn a different language. I think it makes, like, your brain has to work in ways that, you know,
I love that. Yep.
Honestly, like, I think your brain has to work in ways that it doesn't work when you're just speaking and being super comfortable. You know, it's almost like you're solving a puzzle. And I think honestly, it makes you smarter. So that's a pro as well.
Well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully, you know, this has been a productive conversation and it has helped, you know, someone out there. And, you know, like, the main goal is for them to hear more perspective on this, and also to see English in action. Like, this is how English is being used, because I feel like a lot of the students, while they're learning it, a lot of it is, okay, you learn structure A, you learn vocabulary B, and you have AB, but you don't really know how to use it. So hopefully, you know, this series will be a good starting place for some folks, or, you know, a continuous journey for some of them. I thank you again for joining. Yeah.
I'm you know, I'm here because, you know, I'm here also for you to hear, you know, what mistakes I made, you know, because this is the truth, you know, this is the truth. This is how people speak here. This is how, you know, I speak with my friends. This is how I speak with other adults, and you know, this is how I speak. So if you did catch any mistakes, like, mistakes exist. Mistakes exist here, and like, going back to what Nam and I talked about at the beginning, you know, the meaning is, I mean, that's the most important part, because you want to connect with people through language. That's the main point.
Lovely to have you. Hopefully in the future we can do this again. I mean, I know you and I will continue to talk, but
yes.
Hopefully the viewers will get to see you some other time too. And, you know, if you guys enjoy it, please let us know. I would be more than happy to bring Jenna back if she's willing. All right. Thank you very much for your time. All right. See ya. Bye.